Oh my God, what a ledge! Val Kilmer himself. Oh God, can you believe? Like, can you believe he's dead now? Like I can't.
No, but like, he only was 65, but there was like, he had health issues for the last 10 years or so. So,
Yeah,
you
he had
know,
throat cancer, was it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he couldn't speak after like an operation and stuff. So like he was it was
Mm.
hard for him to talk. Um so yeah, it's kind of surprising, but at the end of the day, you knowing about his health issues and stuff, it's maybe not that surprising anymore. Um
Mm.
but I didn't really know a lot about it though. So
What I know of it is that, Christ, how long ago? It was years ago. There was news that he had throat cancer,
mm,
and he was unable to speak as well. And obviously, he was in Top Gun Maverick as well, the sequel, and that, and obviously they got him in that because he was obviously in the original
mm.
and things like that. But it was nice to see him. Like, to be fair, I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, but it's nice to know that he was in for that sequel and that as well. But obviously, we remember him fondly as Batman. And to be fair, a lot there's I think it's kind of split down the middle, where some people say he was actually quite good as Batman, others would say no, he didn't like him as Batman. Personally, for me, I quite liked him as Batman. Um, I'm not even going to well, I'm not even going to mention George Clooney, even though I just did. But
You just did that.
anyway, yeah, what an idiot. But yeah, but as as someone that's taken up the mantle after Michael Keaton as well, I think he's done a pretty good job with Batman Forever, and the movie wasn't great, but he did what he could with it, and like I still thought he was a pretty decent Batman, you know.
Yeah, as Batman, he was all right. Like, Michael Keaton was there first, so you've got to kind of compare him to Michael Keaton. Um, he was a lot better than George Clooney in Batman
Oh,
vs
Miles.
Batman and Robin.
Mm.
So it could have got a lot worse, and it did. Um, Overall, I do look back on that film fondly because it was like one of the movies that you would watch as a kid and go, "Wow, Batman!"
Yeah.
Even Batman and Robin when I was a kid, I still watched it, and it was Batman. You still watched it, but as you grow older, you kind of appreciate the better Batmans, and you kind of see
Mm.
the flaws in Batman and Robin. Um,
Not to mention the foremost Batman nipples, the bat nipples.
yeah, and
Uh,
the butt shots and stuff like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, and the
uh,
overall campiness and kind of it was more like an advert for toys and stuff rather than like an
mm,
actual Batman movie.
yeah.
Um, but Val Kilmer was always like really well known as like a really hard actor to get along with. And he kind of rubbed Joel Schumacher up the wrong way when he
Mm,
was doing the Batman movie. Um, and I think after that he kind of went off and did The Saint instead of doing the next Batman movie. So
yeah.
that's when they got George Clooney in instead. Which was probably a good thing actually, because I think if he'd done that one, that would probably have ruined his career as well. So yeah, but then I forgot that this guy was also in Willow. Do you ever seen Willow?
No, I haven't. No. What was that one about?
It's the guy Warwick Davis who plays the one of the wee cuddly dudes in Return of the Jedi. Can't remember what you call them.
Yeah,
Ewoks.
Ewoks. Yeah.
Yeah. He played one of them, and then it was like I think he got the starring role in that, like he's kind of like some sort of wizard or something. I can't remember. Completely. I kind of watched it a while ago. Um, Val Kilmer does quite a good job in that. Um,
Okay.
the movie is kind of average, but he did a good job. I remember him from Alexander. I don't know if you've ever seen Alexander, the movie.
No, I haven't. No.
He plays Alexander's dad. Um, in that one. Um,
Okay. Is
and
that Alexander the Great?
yeah,
Is that based on? Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's based on Alexander the Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
For anyone who's interested, definitely go and check out the film. It's a pretty good film. It's got oh, I forget his face. What's his name? It's not Brad Pitt, is it? No, it can't be Brad Pitt. Um, who plays Alexander in that film? I can't remember.
Orlando Bloom, maybe.
No, nah,
I'm just
never
trying
mind.
to
Anyway,
think.
oh, is it the same guy that plays the Penguin in the Batman movie?
Hmm?
Alexander. Eh, Macedonia. Yeah.
Danny DeVito. You're
No, Colin Farrell.
right. You mean the new Penguin? When you said Penguin, Danny DeVito sprung to mind. I was like, he was playing Alexander the Great, was he?
No, Colin
Okay,
Farrell.
that's an
Yeah.
interesting casting
Yes,
choice.
he was in that. He was also in Deja Vu, which I can't even remember him being in that movie. Um, the one
I've
with
watched it
Denzel
years ago.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember watching it years ago. But I can't. I don't. I can't picture him in it.
No, neither can I.
So
I forgot.
I need to
Um,
watch it again at some point.
it was an interesting film, Deja Vu. I'll get that.
Mm.
Um, he was also I didn't even know this, but he was in the Prince of Egypt, the animated film.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah, he did the voice of Moses.
Right. I didn't know that.
Nah, neither did
That's
I.
pretty cool to know. I
Um,
did quite like that movie actually. That was a good movie to watch.
yeah, he was also in Tombstone. Um, I don't know if you've ever seen
Never
Tombstone.
never heard of it.
I think it's like a western, which I've never seen, but that looks quite
Okay.
interesting.
All
And I
right.
never knew that he actually dated Cher as well.
You dated Cher.
Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
so he did.
Good on you, Val.
Hmm.
uh,
But
he
yeah,
was also in a movie. Oh Christ. He was in a movie. Oh Christ, who was in it? Al Pacino was in it. Heat. Did you ever watch Heat?
um,
About the
Jesus.
bank robbers and everything else.
Maybe vaguely back in the day, but I don't know if I can remember it mostly.
He was in that. Like I watched that years ago as well. I need to,
Oh yeah,
um,
Robert De Niro, Al Pacino,
yeah,
Ashley Judd.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That was a good movie actually. I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Aye. So he was in a lot of good movies and stuff. Good actor. Um, I think he's like the first on-screen Batman to pass away, isn't he? Because we've obviously had the guy who did the voice for the Batman in the animated series. He passed on a couple of years back.
Yeah,
But I think this is the first guy that's actually played him. No, maybe not. Adam West passed away quite a while ago. So
yeah. Adam West would have been the first one.
yeah.
He
Um,
was, yeah,
in terms of our generation, watching it in the movies on the big screen, um, that we can vividly remember watching. I mean, like I remember that the Batman movie from the '60s was on the telly and stuff, but it was never like you know
yeah.
that much of a thing. But
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, that was
He
it.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy. Sorry, I had to, because it was doing my head, and I was like, I know, like he's like everybody's favorite voice of Batman. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, so it was annoying me that I couldn't think of what his name was. But yeah, Kevin Conroy,
Yeah.
um, animated
Um,
series.
but I think we'll get round to the Batman movies at some point.
Mm,
And Batman Forever. I think I have a fondness for Batman Forever. Um, Mainly because it had Batman in it, it had Robin, had Jim Carrey in it, which was quite good back in the
mm.
day. Um,
Yeah, I think it though. The yeah, yeah, it was some memorable performances. I think Tommy Lee Jones hated it because
mm,
he didn't like Jim Carrey.
yeah,
Because I think he said in an interview, nothing but a buffoon or something, he called him a buffoon or something along those lines. Anyway,
something like he couldn't sanction his buffoonery or something like that.
yeah,
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 he
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
like him, which was unfortunate. But I
Mm.
think it was like the good point between because we just had Batman Returns, which was quite a lot more darker, and like a lot of parents were like, "Oh, right, okay, that's a bit more extreme." Um, and I think Batman Forever was more like in between ways, which was like it was kind of kid friendly, but it still had like a good story arc to it.
Yeah,
Um, but where Batman Robin kind of let it down is that it was like produced way too fast, and it was basically an advert for all the toys because they just thought we'll just put all the toys in it, and it just
yeah. It
became silly.
just kind of went off in its own direction, didn't it?
Yeah, and then we had Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Mr. Freeze, which went a bit too far. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he is not Mr. Freeze, unfortunately. He might have been if they had a better script and it wasn't as silly, maybe.
Thing is,
But
he would have been a pretty decent Bane
yeah,
because he has that physique about him
mm,
as well. Like, well, even back, like even in the 90s, he was still a big, guy. He still is to a certain extent, even for his age. But
mm,
yeah, we've gone off on a tangent again.
yeah,
But yeah, but like Arnold Schwarzenegger could have been Bane. He probably would have been better cast as Bane. But that's typecasting, isn't it? But shit
yeah.
happens.
But
um,
anyway, but yeah, he'll be sadly missed, and
yeah, yeah. Rest in peace, Val. You know.
yeah,
We'll remember you fondly for some of your movie contributions as well.
and did you? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Sweet.
move on.
You want to talk about this one?
DC Studios. I wonder what movie we're gonna be discussing now. DC Studios. I wonder. Could this be maybe a sequel to Aquaman? No. Hmm. Sorry.
Yeah, that was great suspense there. Yeah, because we're obviously reviewing the sneak peek of
Hmm.
a new Superman film. You've obviously seen it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we get Superman crashing into the snow, which is wheezing about. I mean, what do you think? Seeing him so beat up and
It raises questions, and it's quite good marketing if you think about it, because obviously Superman is such a symbolic character. We all like, even if you're not a comic book fan, even if you have never seen any of the movies or anything, or you have no interest in superheroes and everything else, everyone knows who Superman is. And when this sneak peek comes up, and you're seeing Superman come crashing down. He's all cut to shreds. He's like barely able to breathe and everything else. It raises questions, and it's quite good marketing because it makes people intrigued to go, "Oh, what's going on?" Unless you're like some people that go, "Right, I'm going to go online, see what pictures have been leaked," because so many pictures get leaked. online, which does my fucking tits in. But but it raises questions, doesn't it? And it might make you think, actually, I'm going to go see what's going on with this. You know what I mean? So it's quite good marketing in that respect.
Yeah. And then he whistles for Crypto. And I think this is like the first time I've ever seen Crypto on the big screen.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you make of Crypto then? And he
Does
comes out
does
and just...
does the animated Super Pets movie count?
For fuck's sake.
They
I'm not...
brought out a movie that The Rock in that. Who was it? The Rock and everyone did the voices for like the Super Pets, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you're definitely watching that one.
I've never seen it. I just remember it being advertised in that when it came out.
No, I don't know. Maybe more in live action, I suppose. So Crypto keeps jumping up on Superman, just making it worse, and he's just screaming, "Ah, fucking hell, ah!"
It's quite funny, and it's so James Gunn as well if you think about it, because like obviously he has like even when he did Guardians of the Galaxy, there was like a comedic element to it. Do you not think? And I think this is like
Yeah,
his way of putting a kind of comedy element to it, having Crypto the super dog that is like just a puppy, it's essentially just jumping on Superman when like he's like practically dying.
yeah. I suppose as long as the comedy is good and it's not completely throughout the entire film, and there's certain bits that are comedy, and then there's other bits that are pretty serious, and the stakes are clear, and
Mm.
it's not like one big joke all the time. Like you get a serious moment, it doesn't undercut it with a bit of humor sometimes. Like sometimes it does kind of, like, oh, right.
Mm.
But we'll have to wait and see. So
Mm.
he finally gets him to drag him back. I thought this was quite cool that his fortress of solitude eventually just appears out of the snow instead of being there. Because like
All
most
the
of the
time.
time it's like over there all the time, isn't it? So
Mm.
I thought that was a nice touch that it can appear and disappear on command rather than just being there all the time so everyone can find it.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
bit
yeah.
dumb. But it looked quite cool. The sort of the way they've designed it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not much different to previous, you know. It is a little bit different, but not at the same time. If you get my drift, it's like the same. Like it's a nice palace, isn't it? Essentially. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I did quite like it coming out the ground and that. So, I'm
yeah,
still not sold on the hope symbol on the front of them, the S. Still not
yeah.
sold on it. I just don't like that design. Um,
Mm. I think
but
it
that's
might
just me.
be. I think maybe what they're going for is sort of like an alien sort of symbol that would appear to some people on Earth as an S.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose.
Um, I think that's the road they're going down. It might not be, but that's what I think. I don't know. It might not be. So they bring him in, and they're like, "Oh my God, Superman!" And I'm just like, "You might be calling him Kal-El. We call him Superman, right?"
Yeah.
These bloody robots, man. So they pick him up, and he's like, "Oh, thank you." And then the robot's like, "Oh, well, there's no point thanking us because we're basically just robots, and we won't appreciate it because we've got like no human, qualities, you know." And then it
Mm.
basically gets undermined, basically, by this bloody robot, number 12, which is introduced. And he looks at her, and she goes, "Oh my God, he just looked at me." And it's like, that's a human emotion. What the Jesus, what's going on? I thought you can
Yeah,
understand human emotions then. That's just contradicted everything that you just talked about like 2 seconds ago.
yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. It'll get addressed in the movie somehow.
I hope so. We find out that he's badly damaged. They increase the sun to heal him. What do you think about that? Because some people are moaning online about the shouldn't the sun be healing him, not making him in pain. But then I was thinking that if you're like injured and then your body's popping back, like your lungs and all that popping back, and fixing themselves, it probably would be painful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But people really don't think of that aspect. They just think, well, it's the sun. It powers him and all the rest of it. But yeah, they don't really think along those lines. Because I thought similar as well, as going, oh Christ, because like my initial thoughts when I first saw even the trailer when you see him crashing into the thing, into the snow and that, thinking, oh Christ, what's happened here? Maybe I don't know, maybe like Superman Returns, he's got been stabbed by kryptonite, or that my other thought was Doomsday. Like Doomsday does like properly, like whenever Superman's gone up against Doomsday, he properly gets friggin' annihilated, doesn't he? So,
Mm.
but yeah,
Right. So there's that, and then we get some shots that we've seen before. Like I said, from this Lassie, we see quite good shots of the new Lex Luthor,
Lex, yeah.
which I'm sorry I can't remember the guy's name, who plays Lex Luthor,
Yeah, I do recognize him, but I can't think of what his name is either.
because he's
But
been in the sort of the X-Men movies as Beast.
yeah,
Um, oh bloody
we
hell, what's his
mentioned
name?
him in the last podcast as well, actually.
Did we?
Yeah,
Oh,
uh,
Nicholas Holt. That was it.
yeah, yeah.
Lex Luthor, Nicholas Holt. Yeah, because
Oh,
he's been in.
oh no, we were talking about the original Beast in
Yeah,
X-Men. Yeah, but like, yeah, this is yeah, okay,
yeah.
young
But then
Beast.
I find this amazing. This is the guy when he was a young boy. He was in About a Boy. That's the wee lad.
Oh yes.
That's him all grown up. That's
Uh,
amazing.
uh, and like the thing is, he does look really good as like Luthor. I just hope he, you know, lives up to yeah, like
Well,
lives
yeah,
up to
because
the thing,
yeah, because all fans have got their expectations of what Lex Luthor's going to be like, and
Mm.
I think in the Snyderverse they were kind of playing against that somewhat. Um, with I can't remember the guy's name who played Lex Luthor in that one, but they
Yeah,
were
the
kind
guy
of
that
going,
was in Social Network.
yeah.
Um,
He's also in the, is that not that films you can see me now or whatever it is?
yeah, you can see. Can you see? Oh, can you see me? No.
I don't know. Anyway, he's in one of those films, but they were kind of going like a different road.
Now you see me.
Now you see me. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know. Anyway,
or something like that.
I've never seen them, so I don't know.
They are
Hey
good
ho.
movies, to be fair.
Yeah. Fire. I think it was that big massive dragon or something, some sort of alien sort of thing trying to burn them.
Yeah.
Get I
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
Is this
Hawk,
Hawk?
Hawkman, and Hawk Girl.
Oh right, okay. Um,
I think that could be. I don't know if that's Hawkman or Hawk Woman. I think that's
that's
Hawk
Hawk Woman.
Woman. Yeah,
I don't
or
know.
Hawk Girl. Yeah.
I don't know. You're a bit more. You know a bit more about the lore about Superman and a bit more about the different
The,
characters and stuff. But
yeah. So Hawkman, and Hawk Girl. They're like ancient beings, sort of thing, and they've been cursed,
mm,
sort of thing. So like when they die, they get reincarnated and they have to find each other, sort of thing, and then they obviously become Hawkman and Hawk Girl.
all right,
So a little bit of information for you.
right. I hope they're not.
The lore sorry, the lore kind of wavers between comic book and obviously like on screen things. Like
Mm,
I know a little bit about the comic book, yeah, comic book stuff, and then obviously a little bit from what I saw on the Arrowverse as well. So, you know.
yeah,
But that's
I'm
pretty
not
consistent with the comic books.
right. I've not
Well,
really
some of
watched
it
a
is
lot.
anyway.
I haven't really watched a lot of the Arrowverse and all that sort of stuff.
Really good.
We're gonna have to get around to it at some point. I keep still wanting to watch that new Superman and Lois show, which has just ended on the 4th season, but I still haven't got around to watching it yet.
It's on BBC iPlayer. It's brilliant. I
Yeah,
like. I love Tyler Holcher. Holchin, should I say? Not Holcher. Holchin. Um,
watching.
because he was in Teen Wolf,
Right.
the TV show, and he was brilliant in that. Have you ever seen Teen Wolf?
No.
Right, get that watched as well. That's really good.
Bloody
Yeah,
hell.
it's Teen Wolf's Teen Wolf's based off the 1980s Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
inspired by.
Aye. There's a lot of things I still need to get around to watching. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, I'm hoping they're not going to be too much a massive part of the film. Mainly because of the lore, kind of trying to understand who these other characters are.
Yeah.
Because you'll know a lot more about them than I will.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be going in more like a sort of a casual viewer in some sort of
Yeah.
ways, more than you. Um, so hopefully, if they do have them in, they kind of explain them a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We also have, I think this is Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Um,
Yeah.
Now I don't know if in this movie he doesn't actually die. I don't know if they actually keep him alive while he is still Superman. He's both his parents alive. I think I don't know because they
Maybe
did do
maybe
that.
Martha dies.
Maybe they might do that
That
instead.
there are if I remember correctly, there are universes waggling my fingers there, or certain comic books or certain lores where, if I remember correctly, there are sort of universes where Jonathan lives and Martha dies.
Right.
If I remember correctly, I'll need to have another look into it, but I'm pretty sure there
Hmm.
are. But
Because
obviously,
if
there's different variations of it. So
because if you remember, like the TV show back in the 90s, which was Superman, Lois and Clark, um,
yeah.
both his parents were alive in that one, so
Mm.
they might be doing that here. I don't know, but we haven't really seen
Yeah, maybe.
Martha in this, so don't know. That'd be interesting. We get to see him as Clark. Looks like a war zone or something. As wee boy sticking the Superman flag up. Get another shot of Lex Luthor.
With a gun with a massive ass. What is? Oh, it's a Dirty Harry gun. That.
Yeah,
You know who Dirty Harry is.
yeah, of course I do.
Okay, that's all right. I can't
Jeez,
think of
oh,
what the actual gun's called, but like that's the best thing I could describe it as. Uh,
mm.
a revolver, 6 shooter
Think he's
revolver.
think he's compensating for something?
Yeah, massively.
Jesus, I'm
Uh,
bald. Look like an egg.
uh, you've heard of Mr. Potato Head. Here's Mr. Egghead
Anywho,
with a gun.
um, shots of this people shooting at this dude. See this ugly guy. Looks like he's
Is
slept
that
on
not
a carpet too long.
is that not meant to be Martian Manhunter?
Don't know.
You
Maybe.
know who Martian Manhunter is? It is.
Yeah, he's a Martian.
Yeah, but I
Yeah, but
think that's
he doesn't actually look human though, does he? That's just like a facade, isn't it, for Martian Manhunter?
yeah, but he can change his appearance to look human as
Aye.
well. But I think this could be his Martian form because obviously it
Yeah.
doesn't look particularly human.
Yeah,
But it could be. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
maybe. Maybe interesting. I'm wondering why the Green Lantern looks like Uncle Fester. um,
I don't think this is the Green Lantern. No, I think it's one of the he is one of one like is a part of the Lantern Squad or the like whatever you want to call them. I can't think of what they're called, but the Lanterns. But I think he's the villain. Um,
Yeah.
but I can't. Yeah, I think he's a villain, but I can't. He's not actually the Green Lantern. If that makes
All
sense.
right. I hope not. We can maybe get rid of this bowl cut. Anyway, we get another shot of Lex Luthor. Looks a bit banged up. Um, Looks like he might be crying there a wee bit. Don't know.
Rough sex, maybe.
Yeah, a bit too rough.
Yeah.
Floating.
She told me to she told me to call say that no, come on. I was going to make a joke. That's fine.
Fucking hell.
Keep going.
Make a proper one at least. Fucking hell.
Uh,
She told me she was 18. She told me she liked baldies. That's why I shaved my pubes.
She kept slapping me and saying, "Do you like that bitch?" I'm not a bitch, am I? Anyway.
Jesus. Anyway, get some flying sex. And Superman. There you go. What do you think? Because you had a
Listen,
few reservations about this film. So
I'm still on the fence about it as well because it's just annoying that yet again it's like like the whole DC cinematic universe is getting remade yet again, and it just I still hold firm the beliefs of if they slowed the pace down when they were doing the Snyderverse, I think that probably would have been the best thing. And then I think that would have been like because by the time like it would have caught up by now, and then it would have been great to see DC and Marvel go head to head sort of thing. But I think now people are just in the minds of going, whatever. I'll see it if it's good. I might see the next one, see what else to bring out. But if they're anything like me, just like I'll watch it, see what I think.
yeah, I think some people are at the point where they don't want to get invested anymore because they think, oh well, maybe a couple of films down the line they're just going to reboot it anyway. So what's the point? There's
Mm,
no like, at least with Marvel, you've had a bit more stability. Yeah, some of the films were crap, but you still had a same universe, and it was still majority. It was basically the same cast, most of it. So,
mm.
um,
See, for me, I'm more aimed like I love DC and Marvel, but I grew up on DC mostly. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan. But I do love both. I loved, you know, I love both of them and everything else, but I'm more aimed towards DC because that's what I grew up with. Like Batman is you know, like everything to me. I love Batman. He's like one of my favorite superheroes, sort of thing. But I'm just disappointed that you know we're getting another reboot to try and like save it, but you know it's the excitement's gone for it now. You know what I mean? And like there's talks as well apparently about like because obviously Robert Pattinson's Batman um is getting pushed back again. I think it's getting pushed back to 2026 now. No, 2027 actually. I think it is actually
27, I
2026,
think.
2027,
Hmm.
27. Yeah, which we've already waited long enough for it. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't think I would say this, but I was actually looking forward to seeing Robert Pattinson as Batman again. You know what I mean? I loved what they did with it. And it's just disappointing that it's getting pushed back again. And then there was talks about being cancelled altogether because of this reboot, which is for me is fuck off. Get the sequels punted out right now, you dickheads. You
Yeah.
know, so.
Yeah. Yeah, hoping that the second Batman comes out at some point and they do more films in that universe because I thought it was a great universe. And the
Mm,
Penguin series, which follows on after it with Colin Farrell, is
mm.
brilliant. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's like I think it's like 6, maybe 8 episodes or something. I can't remember. It was brilliant. But there's a lot riding on this new reboot and James Gunn, and they kind of hope it's going to succeed. And hopefully it makes a bit of money. So, but we're gonna have to wait and
Mm.
see, and we'll see how we get on. Anyway, we've got another trailer, the Naked Gun trailer. What do you think of that one?
Yeah,
Because I remember the originals back in the
yeah,
day.
me too. Yeah.
Fucking hilarious. The
Yeah.
best hilarious movies ever. Like it was so funny.
I think again with like my personal opinion is something like even with Naked Gun, never do a reboot. It's not called for. I think it was perfect just as it was. Christ, I can't remember the actor who played the main character in it. Forgive me for that one because I'll be kicking
Leslie
myself.
Nielsen.
That's the one. I'm going to be kicking myself later on for that. So thanks. But yeah, it's just perfect as it was. I don't think it needs a reboot. I'll watch it, but I don't. It's not going to hold a candle to the original. In all honesty, but what about
Yeah.
you?
I
What's
mean,
your thoughts?
there were classic films that we used to watch as teenagers,
Mm,
and they were just so funny. Like it was absolutely hysterical. Like
mm,
from beginning to end. Like Leslie Nielsen was fantastic in all those
yeah.
those 3 films, and I'm kind of on the fence about them doing a new one.
Mm,
Because I don't know, it's a weird one. I wish they would come up with new stuff, but Seth MacFarlane's behind this one, so we're gonna have to see because he's the one that's done the Ted movies and sort of stuff like that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Family Guy.
Family Guy, yeah. So we'll need to see if it's any good. So the trail opens with a looks like a bank heist. All the SWAT and the police are there. Outside the bank, inside the bank, people are getting dragged about. Oh, they've got guns. This lassie appears. The cop's like, "What's going on?" This cop's like, "Oh, girl, come here, come here, come here." She ignores them. She walks into the bank, and she basically just stands there. The guy's like, "What do you want?" And then pulls her mask off. It's Liam Neeson in a dress. How that works, I don't know. Basically wants to kill them all. Seth MacFarlane, director Akiva Schaffer. I've never heard of that person, but there you go. So Kate takes out all the thugs. She's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Frank Drebin, the new one." Basically, I just can't take this seriously.
God. I hope he was wearing a jock strap when he did that.
Oh
I
Jesus!
don't think I don't like if I was filming that or like the cameraman, I don't think I would have appreciated seeing his bollocks hanging out.
Oh Jesus! Right. So then he's like, "I miss your daddy," and then his dad is obviously Frank Drebin, um, Leslie Nielsen himself.
Yeah.
And then we get Ed's son, who's played by this dude who looks familiar. I
Sting
can't.
Stingray. Cobra Kai,
Stingray.
man. Come on.
Fucking,
Cobra
that's
Kai.
what it was. I just couldn't remember him without the Stingray, right?
Uh, uh,
It's right, yeah. So he's his son. There's loads of the rest of them. This is just stupid, but they're all standing there crying. You know, right? Okay, whatever. And then I thought this bit was quite funny. Nordberg played by O.J. Simpson, who we all know is a bit dodgy. His son's standing there, looks at the camera, shakes his head, and walks off.
Yeah, that was quite. To be fair, that was quite funny. I did laugh at that bit. Obviously, know what we know now, sort of thing. It's just it was hilarious.
Yeah,
That bit was quite well done.
Yeah, in cinemas August 28th. What are you thinking, based on the trailer?
I'll watch it, but at the same time, the original is always going to hold a special place in my heart. Even if I find this good and I find it funny, it won't hold a torch to the original. You know what I mean? So, it's one of those, you know. But I'll watch it, as I said. Like the good thing, like see the thing about Naked Gun, it was quite silly, sort of like you have to have a pretty silly sort of sense of humor, like our sense of humor. You know what I mean? We laugh at silly shit. You know what I mean? As well, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but for us, it was hilarious. So I just hope that the kind of I know Seth MacFarlane's got quite a silly sense of humor as well, so I'm just kind of hoping they stay true to that sort of silliness. You know.
I hope so. I just vividly remember the sex scene where they're both covered in massive condoms. Safe sex, you know. I thought that was hilarious.
You know what else springs to mind actually? Airplane as well.
Yeah, airplane's hilarious.
That
Don't
springs
call
to
me
mind.
Shirley.
Yeah. Christ. Oh yeah. What a ledge.
Yeah, he was in some of the skinny movies. I think he was like in the third and the fourth one, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was in the I can't remember him being in the fourth one, but I definitely remember him in the third one where he plays the president, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I remember one of the scenes where he's like, "It's times like this, well, where I think to myself, what would President Ford do?" And then there's a picture of Harrison Ford right there. I found that quite funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But hopefully this will live up to the legacy and might do all right, I suppose. We'll see.
Mm.
If it does well, they might do some more. But we'll have to wait and see. Anywho, right. So, final part of news. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So Bill Murray got a bit emotional, like during an interview and things like that. He was talking about one of his fondest memories of Bruce Willis before he became famous, sort of thing. And I can't remember what he called him. What was it? He was the page, basically. He called him he was the page, and what he would do is go into like the actors changing rooms or whatever, the actors rooms and that, and like refill pretzels or do their drinks for them and everything else um as well. And obviously he talks about like when like years later when Bruce Willis makes it as an actor and becomes famous and that, and he comes back and says to Bill and says like you and another actor, I can't remember the other actor's name, was like really nice to me and it was appreciated and stuff like that as well. So, and yeah, it was quite nice. I just wanted to talk about it because it's quite nice because it's a shame what's happening to Bruce Willis with the fact that he's battling dementia and the fact that you know everything that he's accomplished and everything else, everything that he's done, it's just a shame and what's happening to him because uh, you know, uh, yeah. So it's just yeah, it's just a shame because like he's not gonna like it's gonna get to the point where he's not gonna remember any of it, and then everything that makes Bruce Willis Bruce Willis, will just kind of disappear until he dies, sort of thing. And it just kind of gets me as well because he's quite a legendary actor, isn't he? So it's nice to see that because obviously on screen we always see him as the cocky, guy that doesn't get emotional like on screen sort of thing. And it's quite nice to see him actually uh, be more human's not really the right thing to say, but you know what I mean, more kind of down to earth and quite emotional. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
did you get to watch? Did you watch the interview?
yeah, I did, yeah. It was really nice. That, you know, that remembering all this stuff. And it's kind of a shame because we're watching all the legendary actors that we grew up watching, like in the like on the TV and the films, and like in the 80s and the 90s, even in the early 2000s. Like Bruce Willis, like all the Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Sylvester Stallone and Bill Murray himself. Um, they're all getting older now, and we're getting to that point where maybe in the next 10 years, 20 years, they're not going to be around any longer.
Yeah,
Um, it's a shame that we're not going to see them, on the screen anymore, being fantastic, and it's a real shame that obviously Bruce Willis is his health got in the way of him being able to do acting, which I think was the probably the most biggest thing in his life, apart from his family,
mm,
that he
yeah,
loved doing. Um, and we both know that there's things that you love to do, and if he can't do those things, it's a shame. But I
yeah,
think as he gets older, his family's gathered around him. His ex-wife is there, uh, which is you know unheard of in some cases. That your ex-wife would
yeah,
come around and with your kids and help you after you've been separated for so long. It's nice to
yeah,
see that he's all right, and yeah, his health's not as great as it used to be, but he's been looked after, and it's nice to see, especially when we've seen with Stan Lee um, getting shafted.
yeah,
It's kind of nice to see that people are around him and supporting him, and he's
yeah,
going to be all right for a bit. And unfortunately, as his health gets worse, it deteriorates. Yeah, things he might start to forget certain things, and he might revert back to years before he was famous and his childhood and all that sort of stuff. And that's dementia's a really horrible illness, and all power to him and his family for trying to deal with it. And yeah, our thoughts are with him. So yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, like even when the news broke, what was dementia battle and everything else, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, this has to be fake. Because was it not around about that time with the whole fake news thing was coming about as well, and everybody's like, I don't know, like I just didn't want to believe it as a Bruce Willis fan myself. You know what I mean? So I grew up watching the Die Hard films, like what's it called Look Who's Talking, Look Who's Talking films, and that like absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
I know you only voiced the babies and that, but like it's still um, Boy Scout as well. Like what was that? Not then. Is it the Indestructibles? No, the film where you had like Sylvester Stallone and you had like Jason Statham
all the
and
Expendables.
the Expendables. That's the one. Yeah, stuff like but at least we have the films to kind of comfort us in that, like just so we basically have to remember who he is for him, sort of thing, and keep his legacy going and keep his memory going, sort of thing as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, will always be remembering his films, like like you said, Die Hard, The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, Unbreakable, that's an amazing film. Sixth
yeah,
Sense as well. Mm.
brilliant films. Made even better by having Bruce Willis in them. and made
Yeah,
them really believable. Especially Unbreakable, which was really weird film to kind of get your head around. And Bruce Willis just made it believable.
yeah,
Everything that was going on, you just believed. I can remember me and you watching it, and Billy was like at the end when it came up with like the captions at the end. Billy was like, "Was this a true story?" And I was like, "No." We're like, "No, no, no."
yeah. I do remember that actually. And like to be fair, Billy does like his movies, but there's like particular movies that you would watch sort of thing. And I didn't think that you would actually enjoy that film, but you
Hmm.
actually did as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but see,
Um,
it's even memories like that of not just watching the films, but who you're watching them with as
hmm.
well. That you got like, it is nice, as well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
yeah,
Welcome to the
legendary.
party, pal.
Uh, that's
Uh,
what was it? It's from Die Hard. I think it's from Die Hard. It is from Die Hard 4. He goes, enough of this kung fu shit. Uh, but yeah,
oh,
but
the
yeah.
third one with Samuel L. Jackson was absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah. To be fair, the original three Die Hard films were probably the best. You know,
Yeah, I think the
four
fourth
wasn't bad.
the fourth was
Five
all
just
right.
kind of, yeah. Four was okay. Fifth one kind of just uh, went elsewhere. I don't know where they were going with that one, but yeah,
Um, I don't know. Did I even see the fifth one?
I think they
Don't
went to
know.
Russia. There was
'Cause
something to do with the Russians or something, and I think they ended up in Russia at one point. I think because he
I
was like,
think I maybe seen
he,
it, but I don't think I even remember any of it. So,
yeah, because it's him and John McClane's son. John McClane's son joins him in the fifth one.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
whole scene about
Lukac.
yeah. It's the whole scene where like his son's like going, "Oh, I can't believe I failed" or whatever, and then like what's it called? John kind of turns around and says to him, "Oh, do you want me to get you a blanket? Do you want me to get you this and a bit of that?" Yeah, right. Okay, I get you. Where are you going with this? Sort of thing. To
Yeah,
basically tell him, yeah,
yeah. It was crap. I can't really remember much of it, but I suppose you know, um, I think it was kind of wasted with Bruce Willis in it. But Bruce Willis will, you know, he was in some comedies as well, so it's quite funny. Can't
you,
remember them though.
you know what I just kind of remembered as well. With Unbreakable as well. You know how they had the sequels and everything else. Apparently, they were going to do more sequels, but obviously with Bruce Willis, like with his like obviously dementia battle and everything else, I think they've done away with that now because obviously they had Glass and they had Split as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they
So I
had
think they were
Split
going to make
first.
more.
Split
Yeah,
was
Split
first,
first and then Glass.
but they killed him in the
I think.
glass anyway.
Hmm?
Just killed him at the end of glass. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, but did they?
Yeah, they did. Oh
Ah,
crap! I
shit, yeah.
forgot he was in The Fifth Element as well,
Oh, yes, that's another
and
classic.
Armageddon.
Armageddon, yeah, that's a brilliant
That's a
film, piece
bloody
of a film.
brilliant film. Forgot that.
Um,
Jeez, oh.
uh,
Um,
but yeah,
Tears of the Sun.
that wasn't a bad movie. Like, I remember going to the cinema. I think we both went to the cinema with that, but it wasn't. Was it me and you went to see that movie in the cinema?
Don't
Tears of the
think so.
Sun.
No.
No, I remember seeing it
Mercury
in
Rising. Mercury
was
Rising.
it? I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Um,
Cop Out.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
It's more like a.
Boys, Boy Scout. There's one called Boy Scout that he was in.
Hmm.
Where he plays a cop. Um,
Yeah, he usually plays cops. I know. Uh, anyway,
um, but yeah, So like back to so with Bill
Yeah.
Murray and that it's quite nice. It was quite nice to hear about Bruce Willis's humble beginnings and stuff like that, and someone like talking freely and about it as well, about memories, like the early memories of Bruce Willis. So,
Yeah. Cool.
okay.